there was a point that you must come to the negotiating table, and you're saying you're ready for that.
Well, the Palestinians have said this again and again. There was Hamas people who came to our country not too long ago who said this: draw to the 67 boundaries, respect international law.
Okay. Withdraw to the 67 boundaries. Well, how would Israel answer that?
I think Israel would want to know that her security would be guaranteed.
No.
For Israel, it's
withdraw to
simple.
the 67 borders, and apparently that's actually a generous offer.
For Israel, it's simple. In the past, we've had the Camp David Accords, we've had the Taba agreements, where we have said land for peace. If Israel has to concede 10 meters, 10 kilometers, whatever, Israel will survive, providing there is peace.
Okay.
Israel will make the concessions for peace. But what we want in return is an end to the terror.
Israel can make the concessions as far as the 67 borders.
It's not an unreasonable offer. But what Israel wants is recognition like every sovereign state in the world.
Recognition.
Hamas,
according to Roland, Hamas says we don't recognize the state of Israel. Now, how can you even have two nations living peacefully in a neighborly way when you don't recognize the existence of another nation?
Well, let me put it this way, Daniel. When we were fighting against the apartheid regime, we refused to recognize a white minority regime. We said we want to destroy the apartheid regime. That did not mean we wanted to destroy white people in this country. Now, people are equating an apartheid Israeli regime, which discriminates against Palestinians inside the 48 areas called Israeli citizens of Arab descent, as a military dictatorship against those Palestinians in the occupied territories, refuses Palestinians to go back to their home. Rolin, as a South African Jew, can go back to Israel and automatically become a citizen. I know of millions of Palestinians throughout the world living in terrible conditions who can't go back. That is discrimination. Our minister, Ronnie Kasrils, in Parliament the other day said that Israel or Zionism is a racist ideology. It's not interested in peace. Once Israeli people see Palestinians as their brothers and sisters who have to live with equal rights, then there will be peace. Let's not quibble about words.
It's a racist regime, from what I'm hearing, that really people in Palestine will refuse to recognize. That's the contention.
Not Jewish people.
Not Jewish people.
Let's understand one thing. Yes, there is the right of return for Jews to return to their ancestral home. And it must be noted that Jews aren't allowed into certain Muslim-governed countries. Jews will not be allowed citizenship in the majority Muslim-governed countries in the world.
That wasn't my question, though. I'm sure you're beginning to answer that.
I'm getting to that.
To answer
but what has that got to do with Palestine?
Yes,
I'm getting to that.
I just wanted you to answer directly.
And it's a very important point. Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank do not come under the governorship of Israel proper. Israel, with her variety of ethnically different people, we have Jews from Ethiopia, from Morocco, from Yemen, from the Arab countries. We have Arab Israelis, we have Druze, we have Christians, we have Circassians. The list goes on. They all enjoy equal civilian status in Israel. Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, yes, they do. Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank who
but
seek
they can't join the army, from what I hear. Am I correct?
They can join the army.
Palestinians join the army in Israel.
But
This
Palestinians
is the first time I hear they can.
But Palestinians are not Israelis. Israeli Arabs may
Israeli
join.
citizens, that's what they tell us all the time.
They're
They have
not
equal
Israeli.
rights. They say Israel is the greatest democracy in the Middle East. All their citizens have equal rights. You say Arabs are citizens. Now you say they can't join the army. Make up your mind.
Then can I ask this question of Mr. Vally? If you say Palestinians are citizens of Israel, which they are not, they have their own flag, they have their own national anthem.
Inside Israel?
Not inside Israel. In the territories of Gaza and in the West Bank.
Let me just understand. It's something I'm not an authority on, so that's why I want clarity. Someone told me Arab Israelis cannot join the army?
They can join the army. They're not forced to join the army, but they can join the army.
Daniel, I'm sorry to say, this is on television, it's recorded. I would like the South African Zionist Federation to please assist Rolene with her research. Everybody knows, including Israelis, know that Palestinians who are deemed citizens of Israel cannot join the army. In fact, many benefits arise because you had joined the army. There are many Arab villages who are unrecognized. We're not talking about the Apache helicopter strikes, the tank shells in civilian areas in Gaza and West Bank. We're talking about in Israel, where Palestinians are discriminated. I'm sorry,
okay,
that's right.
So
the other point, which is really serious, is that when you talk about Palestine, we are told, well, what about the Arab countries? What about this country? Well, there might be discrimination there. You know, I'm a member of the Support the Darfur campaign. I'm a member of the Zimbabwe Solidarity Committee. But that has got nothing to do with Palestinians. All Arabs are not the same, like all Africans are not the same, like all Europeans. It's a racist argument to use that canard, that homogenize all people in the same way. Palestinians are not responsible for the Nazi Holocaust. Palestinians are oppressed themselves, and let's look at that. Let's not divert the issue.
First of all, I think it's very unnecessary of Mr. Vally to get personal. We're trying to discuss a way forward and to try and move away from this perpetual blame Israel, blame the Palestinians. Israeli Arabs are Israeli Arabs, Palestinians are Palestinians. That is why they seek their own nation, and rightly so. I think that we can continue ad nauseum to apportion blame. It's not getting us anywhere.
Okay, let's try and go forward again. The last point we were talking about here is that it's a racist state, and people are treated as such in comparison to what happened in South Africa.
I'm actually glad you bring up that